Good evening. This is Jack. How are you guys? Let's get back to 1975, 76. I was living in San Francisco. I got a call from the big guy. Big guy said, listen, I have something interesting here. Would you fly down to Miami? And, I said, well, give me a little hint. What's going on? And he goes, well, I've met a guy with a boat. And I go, okay, great. So a couple of days later, I fly into Miami, and we're at the big guy's apartment. He said, listen, I was down in Key West. And he said, in fact, at your girlfriend's house and my girl, and had this great big motherfucker come over. He's got a shrimp boat. Well, we started snorting cocaine, drinking whiskey, and that went on for the better part of a day, day and a half. And bottom line is, he's got a shrimp boat. She'll hold 20,000 pounds, and he'd like to do a load. And, I worked out the numbers with him. We kicked it back and forth. I think we can do pretty good. Let's try to get him loaded for 10,000 pounds. Now, I'm not sure that we can swing the 10,000, but certainly we could swing 5,000 pounds with a guy. Well, he had worked out all the details back and forth, and we said, fine. He says, let's make double sure. We took off for Colombia. Well, in Colombia in those days, it was before the cartel boys had moved in, and we were before the big days with the Colombians, the big-time Colombians. We were dealing with the fucking Indians. And the Indians were, good. They were good people, no problem. But they didn't really speak Spanish. They spoke Indian and Spanish in a mix. It was very, very difficult to understand them. We actually got it across where are we going to load the merchandise, and they said on the La Playa, down on the beach. So anyway, but between charades and tap dancing and drawings and in the sand, it was really crazy. We ended up cutting the deal, I believe, for 5,000 pounds. And, we flew back with all the details and, let the captain know. And we were going to unload it up in New Orleans. And so we made all the arrangements. Everything was fine. We knew a guy that had some sort of a fish house down in Plaquemines Parish. And we made all the arrangements. Everything was fine. Well, sure as shit, we get down to Colombia, and he shows up right on time, and we pull him off right at the Santa Marta airport. And there were a bunch of little houses. The airport runway actually dropped down kind of like a little cliff to the water, and there were a bunch of houses along the line there, right along the shore. And they had it all worked out. And between the Indians, and I think we had the police in on that, we managed to get, I think it was only a few thousand pounds. Let's see. I think it was about, almost 5. Maybe we got there to get 10, but we only got 5. I think that's the deal. And so we got the merchandise out, and we loaded the boat. And sure as shit, he took off, and we said, well, in 10 days' time, we'll be waiting right there in Plaquemines Parish, went all over the charts, and he knew exactly where to go. And we flew back to the States and then went up to New Orleans. Well, to jump ahead, it's time to get the boat. And so we're in New Orleans waiting for him, and he was due on, whatever time it was. 10 days had gone by, and he didn't show up. And, another day went by, and he didn't show up. And another day, and another day. Well, of course, we're down on bourbon and, acting like fucking, tourists, drinking. And, well, you can imagine if you ever been to New Orleans. And, on the third, fourth day, we said, well, what the fuck? So I called my girl down in the Keys, and I said, hey, have you seen hiding a hair of numbnuts? Now, she had set the deal up with the big guy. I was not there when they made the arrangements to set this deal up. And she was a good girl, smart as shit. And she said, hey, listen, the guy's over La Cancha, acting like a drunken sailor. He's loaded and he's snorting cocaine. He's having a hell of a good time. I go, you got to be shitting me. I said, well, listen, we're in New Orleans, but we're headed for Miami right now. Why don't you get over there and promise him anything? And you know what I mean by that. Just go over there and start hanging out with the guy. And, and this was roughly, let's say, noonish, 1, 2 in the afternoon. I said, I'll call you at midnight no matter where I am. So we didn't give a shit. We was going to take the first plane out. We didn't give a fuck where it went. And I believe it went to Atlanta. And we had to do Atlanta, Tampa. But anyway, we got to Miami. And we get to Miami between 11 o'clock and midnight. And we go over to my friend's house to get some guns. And we said, hey, listen, piece of shit has stole that merchandise. He stole 5,000 pounds of weed from us. He goes, what? No shit. I said, yeah, we're going to need a couple of guns. I think we got a Walther and a Hammerless 38. Shit, I don't even know if we got a Browning. And a Browning 9. And we got the guns together. We put a little package together of guns and duct tape and handcuffs, and off we took for the Keys. And I think it was, we got right down to the Last Chance bar, which is down the end of Homestead, right before the tip of the Keys. And I called her. And she was there, waiting for my telephone call. And I said, hey, baby, listen, we're down at the tip of the Keys at the Last Chance, and we're headed your way. Should be 2.5 hours or so. Is the guy still there? She goes, oh, yeah. I said, okay, well, listen, make an excuse. In 2.5 hours, we'll be at your house. I'm going to fucking, drive it as fast as I can without getting stopped. And we'll formulate the game plan, and we'll go from there. Well, shit, we had all the windows down. We were snorting cocaine, pulling over, drinking. We drank all the way to the Keys and started to blow all the way to her house. We got to her house, and we went, okay, here's the plan. We want you and the other girl with her to go over to La Concha, get this big piece of shit, and bring him back to the house. And when you're coming down the lane, she lived on this little tiny lane that opened up and like a shrubbery all around the house that opened up into one of those little conch houses, but it was really, really nice and secluded. I said, once you get to the lane coming into the house, just give a code word that many a drunken sailor has gone down this path. And I said, when you say that, we'll know he's with you. We'll be all ready, and we'll go from there. So, shit, it wasn't, 15, 20 minutes. We heard many a drunken sailor has gone down this path. Well, I was in the kitchen, and I had either the Walther or the Browning, one of them. And the big guy and the guy we had picked up in Miami, they were in the back bedroom. Well, the guy comes in the house, and he said, oh, Jesus Christ, am I thirsty? Because he'd been drinking and snorting cocaine for a couple of days. And the girl said, well, just go right in the kitchen and help yourself, get a drink. Well, when he came in the kitchen, I was standing there, and I drew down on him. And when I drew down on him, he stood just kind of frozen. He looked at me, and he went to say something, and just as he did, whap! The big guy hit him with a board. They were building a deck onto the house, and there was all kinds of 2x4s and boards outside. And I don't know if exactly a 2x4. That would sound real nice, but I'm not sure. But a big piece of wood hit him right in the back of the head, and it was like smacking a watermelon. And he went right to his knees. The minute he went to his knees, they were on him. And they handcuffed him and started duct tape his legs. I look at the guy. The guy's like 6'5", 6'6", monster. And so I come out of the kitchen, and he looks up at me, and he goes, now what, you fucking punk? I go, what? So I went to booting on him. Well, I kicked his eyebrow off. It looked like I kicked his eye out. It was a terrible fucking mess. It was a mess all over the fucking place. But, I was caught up in the moment. This piece of shit had just stolen 5,000 pounds of weed from us. And, and I'd been to Colombia back and forth a couple of times. We were fucking hot. Well, anyway, we duct taped him up, and we had a big, brand new rented car, a Chrysler, a green one. Excuse me. And we backed that car down the driveway, and we managed to rifle him out through the door and across the lawn and into the trunk, and we took off for Miami. Well, we got up almost to Marathon to 7 Mile Bridge. In fact, right at 7 Mile Bridge, the fucking road is blocked off. There's 6 or 7 state trooper cars there. And the guy in the middle, he went, oh, no, they got us. And the big guy goes, no. And I went, hey, everybody just be quiet. Nobody knows a fucking thing. Those girls haven't said a word. And the big guy grabbed him right by the leg, right up close to his nuts, and just squeezed it. Hey, don't say a word. Let Jack talk to him. Well, I rolled down the window, and the highway patrolman said, hey, boys, listen, we got a convoy of water coming down, 5, 6 trucks, and, you boys wait right here if you would, please. And once convoy goes by, everything be good to go. You got about 15 minutes. We're sorry to disturb you, but no problem, right? And we said, no problem, sir. We'll wait right here. Well, sure as shit, the convoy went by. We took off, and we headed to Miami. Well, once we got up into Homestead, there was a little barbecue joint right on the right side, Shriver's, I think. I pulled over to the pay phone. I called my friend in North Miami. I said, hey, listen, I got a piece of shit with me. A guy sold 5,000 pounds. And he goes, what? And he goes, where is he? I said, he's with me right now. And he goes, well, bring the motherfucker over. So we went up to his house, and of course I told him, I said, this is worth $10,000 to you as well. So we get up to his house, and we went in. He goes, where is he? I said, he's in the trunk. Well, he went to work and he started moving the furniture and he rolled right up the living room rug. And we took the rug right out and rolled him up in it from the trunk, carried him right in the house and put him on the floor. Put him up against the wall and he was all duct taped and I'm the only one that was going to talk to him. No one else was to say a word. So he was blindfolded and duct taped and I said, hey, listen, motherfucker. You stole 5,000 pounds of weed. Now listen, when I take the tape off your mouth, just tell me where my merchandise is, who stole it, what the deal is, where it is, and then we'll go from there and see about getting it back. I said, if you don't, well, you're going to have a problem. So I opened his goddamn the mouth and I ripped the tape off and sure as shit, he goes, yep, I stole your merchandise. I'm sorry. I've got it over on an island between Naples and Tampa. And he said, I'm from Tampa, and my brothers and I took the merchandise. You know, you were supposed to get 10. You only got 5. You get short-loaded. We got mad, you know, snorting cocaine. And, you know, we just looked at the big guy. Didn't think he'd do anything anyway. You know, he's so happy, jovial guy. You know, I'm feeling kind of weird right now. I'm worried that you're going to hurt me. I said, no. No, I said, get the guy some donuts. Let's get a washcloth. He looked terrible from that eyebrow missing. He had blood all over the fucking place. He smelled just like death. And he stunk, and he was in terrible shape. I said, no. Take it easy, buddy. Take it easy. All we want's our merchandise back. And so he said, yep. So we fixed him all up, got him some donuts and coffee going, and he was all good to go. And we said, okay, now listen, I'm going to take you to the street. And what we did is we got him a new shirt, and we cut out some black tape, covered a pair of sunglasses, took him right out into the street to a payphone. He called his brothers, told him he had all the merchandise sold, and to deliver a U-Haul truck that night at the D.E.A shopping mall on Kendall Drive and Dixie Highway, and there was a J.C. Penney tire store all the way on the extreme right on the corner of Kendall and Dixie, excuse me, and leave the truck there, leave the keys in the ashtray, get out and drive away. And it's all sold, and he had it all done. Everything was nice and tight. Well, sure as shit, it was midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, and the truck pulled in. I was there with one of my guys, and he ended up, he got out of the vehicle, and they drove off. Well, I had already worked it out and sold the merchandise to the Jew from Miami Beach. I told you a couple of stories about him in Cocaine 101, and I told the Jew that we'd have the merchandise at the D.E.A shopping mall at the tire center at midnight, I'd made the arrangements with him, and he got into the fucking truck and drove it off. Well, 4 or 5 hours later, it was probably like dawn. We were staying over the Marriott over on Lejeune next to the airport. He brought the big downstroke for the money and paid the downstroke, and in 4 or 5 days paid the whole thing off. Hey, listen, I'll have another one for you in a few days. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.